Commander Zix's TR, a seasoned officer of the Galactic Peacekeeping Force, stood motionless. His 4 eyes widened in disbelief and something bordering on awe. In his 150 cycles, he'd never seen anything like this. On the main screen of his flagship, a single human, a creature from the remote and hazardous world known as Earth, was methodically obliterating an entire battalion of Cake's warriors. "Tell me we're not just imagining this," muttered his second-in-command, Ven, glancing around as if seeking confirmation. "Are we sure no one's messed with our tea again?" Zix's TR's mandibles clicked, a sharp, annoyed sound. "Ven, if someone's joking, the universe itself is in on it. And no, I haven't forgiven you for the glitter bomb you pulled last cycle. My tentacles are still finding bits of sparkle in places I don't care to mention." All around them, the bridge crew, a diverse assembly of alien species from the far reaches of the galaxy, were transfixed. The human moved with a deadly elegance that belied the destruction unfolding around her. One instant, she was disarming a Kriax warrior with a maneuver that looked oddly like a dance move. The next, she was wielding his weapon to fell 3 more of his squadmates. "Can I get a status update?" Zix's TR barked, his voice filled with an urgency he barely managed to mask. "And someone bring me a drink potent enough to erase this from my memory." A young Pixa officer, her bioluminescent skin flickering anxiously, responded quickly. "Commander, our sensors show the human's vitals are, well, sir, they're beyond normal limits. Her adrenaline levels alone are enough to be fatal for most known species." "Insightful," Zix's TR replied with a dry sarcasm. "Any further groundbreaking revelations, officer? Perhaps you'd like to remind me that stars burn hot or that gravity has a tendency to pull downward." The Pixa officer flushed, her skin glowing in embarrassed hues. "Actually, Commander, there's one other thing." The human appears to be laughing. At that exact moment, the audio feed clicked on, and the bridge filled with a sound that sent a chill down every spine, fin, and limb present. It was laughter, dark, edged with a humor that seemed to mock the very concept of fear. "Oh, come on, you overgrown bugs," the human called out, her voice equal parts taunt and battle cry. "Is this really the legendary Cake's empire? I've had more challenging sparring sessions with my grandma's knitting circle," Zix's TR observed, transfixed as the human. He recalled that females of the species often looked like this, backflipped out of the path of an energy blast. She landed with pinpoint precision on a Cake soldier's shoulders, using him as leverage to leap into a squad of reinforcements. "You know," she remarked mid-combat, almost casually as she used 2 Kriax soldiers' tentacles to bind them together. "When I signed up for this little interstellar exchange, I expected a little more sophistication and a lot less attempted planetary massacre." "Talk about false advertising," Sarah muttered with a smirk. Ven leaned closer to Commander Zix's TR, his voice barely above a whisper, laced with apprehension. "Commander, should we step in?" Zix's TR turned to Ven with a look so piercing it might have soured milk across multiple star systems. "Step in? Have you completely lost it? Are you missing the part where she's single-handedly tearing through an entire army? And need I remind you, Galactic Peacekeeping Force? We're here to maintain peace, not throw ourselves into whatever this chaos is." "But, sir," Ven persisted, "the Cakes are members of the Galactic Confederation. Don't we have a duty to at least attempt diplomacy?" Zix's TR let out a laugh that teetered on the edge of despair. "Diplomacy? With her? Be my guest. Venerable, I'm sure she'd be thrilled to sit down for a calm discussion about galactic politics. Just keep an eye on your limbs. Word is humans have a habit of disassembling things when they're feeling spirited." Meanwhile, down on the planet, Sarah Havoc Martinez was positively thriving. When she'd signed up for NASA's Xenodiplomacy initiative, she'd expected a few tense discussions, maybe the odd awkward moment. Being dropped into the heart of an alien invasion with nothing but her combat instincts and a boot-stashed, serrated knife, that hadn't been part of the training. "Just a thought," she quipped, narrowly dodging an energy bolt, "but you guys could really stand to broaden your horizons. Have any of you even tried pizza, roller coasters, dog agility competitions?" A massive Kriax warrior charged at her, its mandibles clacking furiously. With a quick sidestep, Sarah allowed the creature to collide with a conveniently stacked tower of energy cells. The subsequent blast sent fragments of Kriax hurtling in every direction. "Now that's what I call a welcome party," she declared, eyes alight with manic energy. "Cultural exchange with a bang. Who could ask for more?" Back on the command ship, Zix's TR was beginning to question every choice that had led him to this moment. He had joined the Galactic Peacekeeping Force to foster interstellar harmony and promote understanding among among civilizations. And yet here he was, watching as a being from a species yet to master faster-than-light travel systematically dismantled one of the galaxy's most dreaded armies. "Commander," the young Pixa officer interrupted, her bioluminescent skin pulsing with a faint, anxious green. "The humans' vital signs, they're escalating even further. But I didn't think that was possible." "Oh," Zix's TR replied, sighing deeply from somewhere that felt like the very core of his being, or cores, depending on which xenobiologist was asked. "Of course they are. Why wouldn't they be? I expect any moment now, she'll either start breathing fire or develop the ability to shoot lasers from her eyes. It's the logical next step, really." As if fate had heard his sarcastic musings and felt compelled to deliver, Sarah chose that exact moment to hoist a Cake's tank. Not a portable weapon, mind you, but an actual full-sized assault vehicle, off the ground. With a yell that was part triumphant shout and part punchline to the universe's wildest joke, Sarah swung the tank like a makeshift baseball bat, sending Kriak soldiers flying as they attempted to close in on her. "Batter up," she shouted with gleeful abandon. "Let's see who's next for intergalactic T-ball." Ven turned to Zix's TR, his expression an uneasy blend of astonishment and fear. "Commander, I think I speak for the entire crew when I ask, what in the name of the cosmos is happening down there?" Zix's TR, long past the point of maintaining any semblance of professionalism, gave a resigned shrug. "What we're witnessing, Ven, is a prime example of evolutionary survival. Specifically, why one should never provoke a species that evolved on a planet constantly trying to kill them." "But sir," interrupted another officer, a Turith with more tentacles than Zix's TR could count, "could this human's combat ability be augmented? Is she using some kind of enhancement?" Almost as if responding to their very thoughts, Sarah chose that moment to launch into a monologue, her tone strangely casual despite her current activity, wielding two Cakes as makeshift nunchucks. "You know, I really should thank you guys," she quipped, dodging blasts with nonchalant grace. "I've been trying to kick caffeine for years, but this is a way better rush. Who needs coffee when you've got an alien invasion to keep you on your toes? Am I right?" Zix's TR turned to the Turith officer, deadpan. "There's your answer. The human's edge, apparently, is derived from what they call bean juice. Clearly, we're in the presence of superior evolutionary design." As the clash continued, if one could even call it a battle, given its lopsided nature, Zix's TR found himself oddly mesmerized by her approach. It was pure, chaotic improvisation, a relentless surge of audacious moves that defied every standard tactic. One moment, she was using a Kriak's energy rifle as a makeshift pogo stick. The next, she was surfing on a chunk of debris, raining mayhem down on the bewildered Cake's forces below. "You know," Sarah's voice rang out, almost conversational amidst the madness, "I'm starting to think you didn't really think this whole invasion thing through. Didn't anyone do a basic risk assessment? Any decent strategist would have flagged lone human threat as a critical oversight." Frustrated to his breaking point, a Cake's commander shouted something in his native tongue, his voice filled with rage. The ship's universal translator promptly converted the alien screech into something resembling coherent speech. "Insignificant earthling," the translation boomed, "you dare challenge the might of the Cake's empire? We span galaxies. Our technology surpasses your primitive understanding. We shall." Before he could finish, Sarah expertly hurled a piece of debris, striking him squarely in the mandibles with a precision that left no room for further argument. The alien stumbled back, more startled than injured, his grand speech cut short by muffled spluttering. "Apologies, big guy," Sarah called out, sounding anything but apologetic. "I have a strict, no villain monologues during invasions rule. Right up there with no wire hangers and no swimming for 30 minutes after eating." Back on the command ship, Ven looked at Zix's TR with a mix of confusion and reluctant admiration. "Sir, I have to ask, why aren't we assisting the Cakes? They're technically members of the Galactic Confederation." Zix's TR turned to him with a look cold enough to dim a star. "Assist them? Ven, allow me to spell it out in terms even you can grasp. This isn't merely a battle, it's not even just a monumental drubbing. No, this is a masterclass in interstellar diplomacy." He gestured to the view screen, where Sarah had taken a Cake's flag and was waving it like a bullfighter's cape, taunting a swarm of thoroughly frustrated alien soldiers. "That human is single-handedly shaking up the galactic power structure in our sector. And she's doing it armed with nothing but her bare hands, a knife, and what appears to be an endless supply of sarcasm." "But sir," Ven tried again, our duty, Zix's TR cut him off, his tone thick with irony, "is to keep the peace. And frankly, letting Little Miss Annihilation down there finish her work seems like the most effective path to lasting stability. Or would you rather be the one to explain to the Galactic Council why we meddled in a clear case of planetary defense?" As if to emphasize Zix's TR's TR's point, Sarah commandeered one of the Cake's ships at that moment. The sleek, insectoid craft lifted shakily off the ground, piloted by hands unfamiliar with alien controls but adapting at an unnervingly rapid pace. Woohoo! Sarah's voice crackled over the comms. Cakes, your ships handle about as well as your invasion strategies. Ever heard of ergonomic design? My great-aunt Mildred could build a better cockpit, and she thinks high-tech means a TV remote control. The Cake's forces, already in chaos, collectively lost whatever composure they had left as they watched a human piloting one of their own ships. Panic rippled through their ranks, sending entire battalions into frantic retreat. Zix's TR observed the unfolding mayhem with a blend of horror and begrudging respect. You see, Ven, this is precisely why we don't intervene. The universe has its own way of sorting things out, usually with ample collateral damage and a few memorable wisecracks. Who are we to challenge the cosmic order? As the fight, or at this stage, the rout, neared its conclusion, Sarah's stolen ship dipped low, soaring over the Cake's command center with a triumphant flare. With a move that defied both the laws of physics and common sense, Sarah launched herself from the cockpit, spinning through the air before landing squarely atop the Cake's Supreme Commander's head. "Hey there, big guy," she greeted, as if this was a casual encounter rather than an invasion showdown. "Just so you know, on Earth, we tend to bring gifts when we visit new places. Flowers, maybe some wine, certainly not a full-scale army. Just a little cultural tip for your next excursion. That is, if you're still in the mood to try after this." The Supreme Commander, towering over his troops, bellowed with fury, the ground trembling under his rage. He reached up with a massive claw, determined to swipe this audacious human from his head. But Sarah, with the lightning-quick reflexes that had defined her throughout the battle, sidestepped his attack. His swing, missing her by inches, continued its arc right into his own face, resulting in a resounding crack as his own strike knocked him cold. Sarah hopped down gracefully, dusting off her hands as if she just finished a casual chore rather than single-handedly halting an invasion. She glanced around at the shell-shocked Cake's troops. "Well, that about does it. Now, who's going to be the brave soul to explain to your superiors why you're returning home empty-handed? Anyone? Didn't think so." On the command ship, a deep, stunned silence had settled over the bridge. Every officer stared at the screen, their expressions a mixture of awe, disbelief, and a hint of primal fear. Ven finally found his voice. "Commander, what do we do now?" Zix's TR, who had spent the entirety of the battle vacillating between dread and dark amusement, felt an unexpected sense of calm wash over him. He turned to Ven, a peaceful smile gracing his mandibles. "What do we do now, Ven?" "Simple. We do what any intelligent beings would do when confronted by a force beyond reason." He paused, letting the anticipation build, relishing how every eye and equivalent sensory organ on the bridge was focused on him. "We submit our report, request Earth be immediately designated a Class X death world, and then head to the nearest station and drink until every memory of this day is erased." A murmur of agreement swept through the crew. It wasn't exactly protocol, but under the circumstances, it felt like the most rational course of action. As the Galactic Peacekeeping Forces ship prepared to depart, Commander Zix's TR paused, taking one last look at the view screen. Down below, Sarah was striking a triumphant pose atop a heap of unconscious Cake soldiers, looking every bit like a wildly unconventional interstellar action hero. "You know," Zix's TR murmured to himself, "I wonder what would happen if we introduced her to the Zorgnaks. Remember them? Those warmongers who fancy themselves the galaxy's greatest warriors." Ven's eyes widened with alarm. "Sir, you can't seriously mean—" "Oh, but I do, Ven," Zix's TR replied, a mischievous glint in his eyes. "I think it's about time the Zorgnaks were taught a bit of humility. And who better to teach them than our new friend down there?" Almost as if responding to his thoughts, Sarah's voice crackled over the comms. "Hey, you up there? I know you've been watching. Got any other invasions that need a little persuasion? I'm warmed up, and it feels like a shame to let this adrenaline go to waste." Zix's TR couldn't help but chuckle as he activated the ship's external speakers. "My dear human, how would you like to be our official galactic peace enforcer?" There was a pause, followed by Sarah's laughter ringing through the air. "Galactic peace enforcer? I like the sound of that. Does it come with a badge? Or better yet, a sleek spacesuit? Always wanted to try out zero-G combat." As Zix's TR began to outline the details of her new position, which he was absolutely inventing on the spot, he felt a strange mix of excitement and unease. The galaxy was about to get a lot more interesting, and likely more explosive. Meanwhile, on the planet's surface, Sarah was busily tying up the last of the Cake soldiers with their own comm cables, humming a tune that sounded suspiciously like "Another One Bites the Dust." "You know," she commented to a particularly dazed Cake's warrior, "I really should thank you guys. I haven't had this much fun since that time I accidentally stumbled into a Black Friday sale at Walmart. Between you and me, the middle-aged ladies wrestling over discounted toasters were way scarier than you lot. The cake's warrior managed a gurgled response, though it was unclear if it was intended as a comment or a plea for mercy. Sarah seemed to take it as the former. Oh, you thought this was intense? You should see what we humans do for kicks. Ever heard of extreme ironing? No? How about cheese rolling? Let me tell you, once you've watched a crowd chase a wheel of cheese down a steep hill, alien invasions just don't have the same thrill. As Sarah continued her impromptu stand-up routine for her baffled audience, Zix's TR's voice boomed over the comms. Attention, Sarah of Earth. We've just received approval from Galactic Command. Your appointment as Galactic Peace Enforcer has officially been approved. Care to come aboard and go over the details of your first mission? A grin spread across Sarah's face that would have made any creature with an ounce of self-preservation shudder. Oh, absolutely. Just give me a second to gift wrap these guys for the local authorities. In a blur of motion that seemed to bend the very fabric of logic, Sarah had the remaining cake soldiers bound up and stacked neatly. As a finishing touch, she placed a hastily scrawled sign on top that read, "Free to a good home. Caution, may bite." As a shimmering beam from Zix's TR's ship began to encircle her, Sarah turned back to the cake's troops. Well, gentlemen, it's been fun. Thanks for the workout. And just a tip for next time, maybe do a little research before you pick your next planet. I hear the Fluffy Bunny Nebula is lovely this time of year and significantly less likely to hand you your thoraxes. With that, Sarah vanished, leaving behind a scene of utter wreckage and no small amount of bewilderment. Aboard Zix's TR's ship, the atmosphere was a strange mix of admiration, trepidation, and a sort of resigned disbelief. When Sarah materialized in the transporter room, the crew instinctively took a collective step back. Well, hello there, Sarah greeted, completely unfazed by the wary stares from the alien crew. Nice ship, loving the decor. Very cosmic. Zix's TR, who had reluctantly taken on the role of human handler, a decision he was already beginning to regret, stepped forward. Welcome aboard, Sarah. I trust your engagement with the cakes was invigorating. Sarah's grin, if possible, widened. Invigorating? Darling, that was better than my morning espresso. By the way, you wouldn't happen to have a cafeteria on this space yacht, would you? Repelling invasions works up quite an appetite. As Zix's TR led Sarah toward the dining area, while discreetly signaling the security team to stay on high alert, he couldn't help but marvel at the absurdity of the situation. Here he was, a distinguished commander of the Galactic Peacekeeping Force, acting as a tour guide for someone who had just dismantled an entire invasion force solo. So, Sarah asked as they walked, her eyes darting around to take in the details of the ship. What's this I hear about a first mission? Please tell me it involves action. Or diplomacy. I'd love to try my hand at intergalactic negotiations. I've been told my right hook is quite persuasive. Zix's TR, feeling a stress-induced twitch developing, managed a strained smile. Yes, well, we've received a report of some unrest in the Zorgnak system. They seem to be getting a bit overzealous in their territorial ambitions, Zix's TR noted. Sarah's eyes lit up with a mischievous gleam. Ambitious, are they? Well, we can't let that slide now, can we? Tell me, what kind of crowd are these Zorgnaks? Do they appreciate a well-timed pun mid-fight? I've been working on my material, and it'd be a shame if it went to waste. As Zix's TR began to fill Sarah in on the Zorgnaks, quietly sending up a prayer for the poor, unsuspecting aliens, the crew looked on with a blend of curiosity and unease. Then, ever the cautious voice in Zix's TR's ear, leaned over and whispered, "Sir, are we really sure about this? Unleashing her on the Zorgnaks. It feels like using a supernova to light a candle." Zix's TR, his gaze fixed on Sarah, who was now attempting to arm wrestle a Glictor crew member using only her leg, merely shrugged. "Then we may not have much of a choice. Besides, consider it a cultural exchange. We're just introducing the Zorgnaks to one of the galaxy's most unique species." "You mean terrifying?" Ven muttered. "Same thing," Zix's TR replied brightly. "Now, be a good chap and make sure we update the Zorgnaks conflict resolution manual. I have a feeling it's about to need a whole new chapter." As the Galactic Peacekeeping Force ship set course for the Zorgnak system with its new peace enforcer on board, one thing was clear: the galaxy would never be quite the same again. Whether that was for better or worse, no one could say, but it was sure to be entertaining. Somewhere in the cosmic vastness, the universe itself seemed to chuckle. It had been a while since things got this interesting. Hurtling through hyperspace toward the Zorgnak system, Sarah had settled in comfortably, much to the crew's bewilderment and Zix's TR's steadily growing headache. She'd taken it upon herself to improve various ship systems. This is what you call a weapons array? Sarah's voice echoed from deep inside a maintenance shaft. I've seen more firepower at a neighborhood water balloon fight. Zix's TR rubbed his temples, briefly considering if he could get away with dropping her off at the nearest black hole. Sarah, perhaps we should concentrate on the mission briefing instead of whatever you're doing to my ship? Sarah popped her head out of the maintenance shaft, her hair wild, her grin a little too enthusiastic. Multitasking, Commander, it's one of our human superpowers. Besides, if we're heading in to face the Zorgnax, we may as well do it with style. How do you feel about glitter bombs? Before Zix's TR could form a polite response or a scream, the ship's alarms blared. Ven's tense voice came over the comm. Commander, we have a situation. The Zorgnax fleet, they've arrived. As the crew scrambled to their stations, Sarah sauntered onto the bridge, casually munching on what looked suspiciously like a sandwich made of alien fruits, and perhaps a few engine components. Well, Sarah remarked, taking in the enormous Zorgnax armada on the view screen. Looks like they started the party without us. How rude. Zix's TR, who had long since abandoned any hope of following standard protocol, let out a resigned sigh. I don't suppose you have any brilliant plan for handling a fleet that outnumbers us 1,000 to 1? Sarah's grin was practically radiant. Oh, Commander, I thought you'd never ask. What followed was a tactical whirlwind that would become legend in galactic peacekeeping force lore for centuries. Armed with little more than her quick thinking, a half-eaten sandwich, and a ship of increasingly bewildered aliens, Sarah proceeded to run absolute rings around the Zorgnax fleet. She hacked their comms, flooding them with a loop of Earth's most aggravating pop tunes. Using the ship's recently enhanced weapon systems, she unleashed what could only be described as a barrage of weaponized memes across the cosmos. At one point, she even convinced 3 Zorgnax battleships that they'd won an all-inclusive vacation to a nearby black hole. As the Zorgnax fleet dissolved into disarray, their formations disintegrating under the absurd onslaught, Zix's TR could only watch in stunned admiration. I can't believe it, Ven whispered, wide-eyed. She's winning, now sporting a makeshift cape fashioned from leftover alien components. Sarah turned to the crew with a wink. Winning? Sweetheart, I'm only warming up. Who wants to see me make their flagship do the Macarena? Hours later, as the last of the Zorgnax ships retreated in a less than orderly fashion, the Galactic Peacekeeping Force bridge erupted into applause. Covered in sweat, glitter, and what might have been engine oil, Sarah took an exaggerated bow. Thank you. I'll be here all week. Be sure to try the veer, or whatever your space cuisine equivalent is. Zix's TR, looking as though he'd aged a century in a single day, approached her with a mixture of respect and lingering fear. Sarah of Earth, he began with gravity. On behalf of the Galactic Peacekeeping Force, I have to say, that was the most reckless, irrational, and utterly genius display I've ever witnessed. Sarah beamed. Ah, Commander, you're making me blush. So what's next? Anyone else out there in need of a classic Earth-style smackdown? As if on cue, the ship's communication system crackled to life, revealing a stern-faced alien in hologram form, adorned with enough metals to sink a small star. Commander Zix's TR, the alien intoned, its voice dripping with authority. This is High Admiral Calk of the Galactic Council. We've received rather unusual reports about your approach with the Zorgnax. Care to explain? Before Zix's TR could respond, Sarah slid up to the hologram with a mischievous grin. Well, hello there, Admiral, she purred, her tone playfully bold, prompting a twitch in the Admiral's eye stalks. Let me tell you how Earth just saved the galaxy's collective backside. Got a few hours? With that, Sarah launched into a retelling that somehow included space pirates, a dance-off, and an impromptu cooking show. Zix's TR could only watch in mild amusement. The galaxy would never be the same, but maybe, just maybe, that wasn't such a bad thing. In the weeks that followed, Sarah's reputation grew rapidly. Known across the galaxy as the Deathworlder diplomat, she was hailed as a force capable of ending conflicts with nothing but puns and spontaneous dance routines. The Galactic Peacekeeping Force saw a surge in recruits, whether out of admiration or curiosity to witness the chaos firsthand. No one could say for sure. Sarah, meanwhile, fully embraced her new role, traveling from system to system, leaving a wake of befuddled aliens and averted crises. Glitter bombs became her signature move, and synchronized dance-offs became the new universal conflict resolution protocol. Back on Earth, word of Sarah's exploits trickled down through classified channels. NASA executives were frequently spotted alternating between uncontrollable laughter and nervous sips from flasks. The cultural exchange program was quietly rebranded as the Galactic Havoc Prevention Initiative, with Sarah as its unlikely poster child. Somewhere in the vast cosmos, aboard a ship now adorned with racing stripes and a disco ball, Sarah gazed out at the stars and grinned. The universe was filled with wonders, dangers, and beings who took themselves far too seriously. And she, with her humor, her resilience, and an unending supply of terrible jokes, was ready to take it all on. As Zix's TR often mused, usually while nursing a strong drink, the galaxy might never be prepared for humans, but they certainly made things interesting. And with that, dear reader, we leave our spirited hero to her next adventure. For in a cosmos full of mystery and mayhem, sometimes all you need is a human with a bad attitude and a good right hook to make things right.